So this is my eyeshadow palette drawer. Here they are in all of their glory. I'm going to start kind of in the back with some of the cheaper, like Wet n Wild palettes, and then we'll work our way up to my higher end stuff. So you all know I am a Wet n Wild junkie, so I have almost every palette that they made. I made a huge mistake of depotting a lot of my favorite Wet n Wild shades, and my Z palette dropped, and most of them got ruined to where I had to throw them away. We have Comfort Zone, really great palette. Petal Pusher, one of my favorite purple palettes. Walking the Red Carpet. This is a Black Radiance, but I wanted this palette for so long. I finally had to order it online because nowhere in my area ever had it. These are some more of the 8 pans. Going in the Wild. Blue Had Me at Hello. Flirting at the After Party. That one you can see is kind of broken, but it is a pretty purple and pink palette. And then here's 2 of these kind of, it's a little bit different setup. There's 3 like super shimmery ones at the top, then 3 in the middle, and 2 matte shades at the bottom. Girls Just Want to Have Fun. Never even been opened. High-waisted jeans. Here's a blue and silver one. This one kind of broke. It is a kind of a gold one. The Lust palette. Staring Downtown. Don't think I've used it. It's all dark shades. They'd be good for liners, but they do have glitter. Greed by Wet n Wild. This shade here is a very pretty transition color. It is peach, kind of like a peach smoothie color, so it is a good color. East Side Enigma. These were not very wearable colors, but I did snag up the collection. Cool as a Cucumber. They don't make this one anymore, I believe. And I Dream of Greenie. This is Bohemian Rhapsody, which I ordered off the website because nowhere in my area ever got these in, and these were part of this past year's Christmas collection. Now, one that I do love is this Walking on Eggshells. Of course, I'm sure most of you have tried this. If you haven't, go get it. It is cheap, and I like it better almost than some of my higher end shades. Smoke and Melrose. Now, when these came out, the big ordeal was that they were Urban Decay dupes, which I think there are some really similar shades. So I'm just going to go through these real quick. Here's another one that I got real cheap. I haven't even opened. Vanity. I didn't even know I still had that, but my favorite color I've used all the way down. Here's the other one. These 2 came out together, the Melrose ones. Here's the Pride palette, another one of their originals. These went along with the green ones that I showed you earlier. California Roll and Thrift Store Chic. Okay, Haute Hollywood and the Naked Truth. This one came out first. It was not very well liked, so they reformulated it and it was renamed. This one I had been kind of looking for a long time, and I did finally find it not too long ago, actually. These are all some of those really bright colored ones. The kind of maybe 2 years ago, their spring collection. Grays Matter, Don't Steal My Thunder, Sweet as Candy. This is another good one. It's similar to Walking on Eggshells, but it is more pink for the lid shade. And here's just a couple more trios, and that's a really old one. These are okay. They're nothing like the other Wet n Wilds that you guys know and love, but they are kind of appearing at the Dollar Tree, so if you wanted to try any of these out, now would be a good time. Out of all of them, this I would say is the best, and it's called No Filter. I picked up a bunch of these NYC palettes from the Dollar Tree. I got most of the neutral ones. I know that's kind of blurry. There we go. I got quite a few of those, but I have not messed around with them yet. But I've heard good things, so I think that was a really good price for $1. So I lied. Here are some more Wet n Wilds. I don't really like these as much as I kind of hoped I would. But here they are. These ones all kind of are their newer style of packaging. So some of these are Fergie, but these 2 have been renamed and repackaged. These 2 are the ones that were exclusive to Walmart. Here's a Kardashian Touchstones, Too Faced. This was the candy bar. It's cute, but it's got a bronzer and a blush and some eyeshadows. I have this Pacifica. This is a pretty palette. It kind of reminds me of a very small, scaled down Anastasia palette, but it's cute. The colors are pigmented, and it's like mineral eyeshadow and cruelty free and everything, so that's a good one. This one I dropped on the driveway, which I almost cried because this was like my Naked Basics to me. So two of the shades that I used a lot of, as you can see, are now gone, but I would repurchase this. And this is the Physicians Formula. Okay, now a drugstore palette that I love and highly recommend is this NYC Levatics by Demi palette. And I can't get it open, but here it is. Got a little dent in it. Very pretty, very pigmented, and I believe it is $6.99 for all of these colors, and it is really, really nice. I would definitely recommend. Now this one is very similar to the Demi palette. Let me show you them side by side. This is the City Color Barely Exposed. On the bottom, you can see it's a lot smaller of a palette. That's the Demi, that's the City Color, but the colors are very similar. Like down the line even, you can kind of see how they almost mimic each other. But out of the two, I like the Levatics one, but this one was just a little bit cheaper at $5, and the Demi one is about $6.99. But this you can get at Five Below. This was an e.l.f. palette from the Dollar Tree that I recently got, so they might still have these. This Patty Dubreuil, when I saw this at Burlington Coat Factory, I kind of thought, oh my gosh, like it looks like the Unzipped palette, like the way that it's set up. And I was really had high hopes for this, but unfortunately it missed the mark for me. Got my BH Cosmetics Essential Eyes. This one, I love BH Cosmetics, but to me, when I apply these on my eyes, I feel like they all blend together almost too well. But the colors, when they're swatched individually, are nice, but I just feel like when I put them all together, something just doesn't look right every time I try to use it. The Victoria's Secret, one of their palettes, one of their, like, it's not really a palette, it's like a big makeup kit. But some of these neutral shades are amazingly pigmented and very pretty. Another great palette from the drugstore, which I also have a tutorial on, is the Too Faced Natural Eyes. Very nice palette from the drugstore. This right here, if I was to like lose this or anything, I would probably be heartbroken. So I want to order another one because I know it's not going to be around forever. So this is the Carly Bybel. 1, 2, 3 shades that I've hit pan on. This is one of the most pigmented and one of my most favorite brow bone highlights. That's one of my favorite lid colors. These are amazing in the crease. I haven't used the second row quite as much as the first row, and the highlighters are so gorgeous. So this one, if you don't have it, please get it. You will not regret it one bit. So on that same note, I have my Shan XO, which I love as well. I like the Carly one a little bit better, but I love the fact that it has all these beautiful lip colors on the other side. Let's do Urban Decay next, I suppose. I mean, I'm not really going to go into much detail on these because I feel like everybody and their brother has them. I don't have the original. I have 2 and 3. I have the Naked on the Run, which, as you can see, I dropped it. I don't keep the little pencils and all that in there. I have that somewhere else, but here's all the products. One that I do recommend a lot is the Urban Decay Pulp Fiction, because it's a really nice matte palette. This is a good brow bone highlight. That's a good crease color. That's a good under eye color / eyeliner or definition color. And then you got your black and your white. This one's really, I highly recommend. Nordstrom Rack had those. I don't know if they still do, but if they do, I would get it. But here's my Vice 3. I was not overly impressed with this one. These matte shades are great, but like Last Sin, I feel like just really disappointed me. I thought that would be an awesome lid color, but it really disappointed me. The Smoked palette, I mean, again, like I feel like everybody knows what these look like, but Here it is. I got this like on a Black Friday special from their website 2 years ago, and it came with one of those black liners that I showed you. This one I actually really love. It's the Ammo palette. Some of these colors like are in the Naked palettes, like Chopper and Smog, but like Maui Wowie is pretty. Sin, of course, is in the Naked palettes as well. But it also has these awesome purples, and I really do like this, but of course they're all shimmers, so you do need to kind of pair them with another palette for the matte shades, which I tend to like pair this a lot with that Pulp Fiction one. Let's just compare these two together, the Ammo and the Shadow Box. They both, of course, are black and purple. Shadow Box is a little bit thicker, a little bit sturdier, and it has the magnetic closure. And then here is the colors in there. Again, it has Sin and it has Smog, but it has some other really good colors. My last and my most favorite Urban Decay palette is the Gwen Stefani. Now, when these came out, I feel like people either like loved it or hated it, and so I was a little skeptical at first to buy it, especially with the price tag, but I love Gwen Stefani and I love Urban Decay, and I just couldn't pass it up. But now I almost wish I would have waited because they're like $25 right now. But again, I think it was worth every penny. So I actually wore this today. You can create so many looks with it. Some of my most favorites, what I like to do with it is like blonde on the brow bone, and then I do like Stark, Zone, and Anaheim in the crease, and then either Baby or Steady in the lid, and Punk on the lower lash line. So if you don't have this, definitely get it now, because I think they're not going to carry it forever, and it is marked down. So that was on my Urban Decay. This one I guess isn't really considered high-end, but I just have it in there with them. But it is the W7 in the Mood, and these are so pretty, and honestly it's a dupe for Naked Basics. So Too Faced Chocolate Bar, unfortunately you can see that my mirror has cracked, but other than that I love this palette. So let's go into Anastasia. Unfortunately I have the Amrezy palette somewhere, but I cannot find it anywhere. So honestly, I'm kind of bummed about that. So I have the Tamana, which is this one, which as you can see, look at that shade, is called Blush. Yeah, Blush. And obviously I love that shade. This one's really pretty, gilded. I really like the mix of these two in the crease. And the Amrezy palette I loved as well, but I can't find it at the moment. One thing I love about Anastasia is you get that same quality, that same high-end quality, but the prices are not nearly as expensive as like Urban Decay or Too Faced even. Like Pink Champagne looks a mess right now because I use that kind of wet, but I mean, hello. Perfect shade on your lid. Look at that shimmer. I love the Morocco, I love Fudge, all those for crease colors. Pink Champagne definitely goes on my lid. It is just a great all-around palette. So funny story, I was debating on either getting the Smashbox Full Exposure, the big size, or the Too Faced Chocolate Bar. I was kind of like flip-flopping back and forth. So I ended up getting the Too Faced Chocolate Bar and then the mini size of the Full Exposure, which I did not know was going to be quite this mini. It's like the size about of a credit card and almost as thin as a credit card, but I guess it would be perfect for taking in your purse. But I'm honestly glad that I didn't go with the big one because I'm not a huge fan of this. I definitely love the chocolate bar palette more, so I'm glad I went with that. And then let's do some Lorac, and then I believe we will be done with palettes. I am missing one of these as well. Here is, these came 3 in a set. This is Gold Satin. These were from Nordstrom Rack. Kohl's had these last year or the year before for Christmas, and then Nordstrom Rack had them for, you know, after that. And this one's really pretty too. The one that's missing I think is more, I can't remember. It might be more of a silvery palette. And then the Lorac Resort palette, which again, bummer. Look at that mirror. It cracked, and so... But this is a good palette. I have a tutorial on this palette too, so I won't spend a lot of time talking about it. So if you want to learn more about that, you can go ahead and watch that video. So those are my palettes. And down below I have another little section that basically has like my hairstyling stuff and flat irons and all that, and also I have a bag back there, a Sephora bag that is filled with stuff that I'm going to be giving away very, very shortly here after I get this video posted then I will launch my giveaway very, very soon.